Ms. Bailey,
Here.
Dr. Cable, Ms. Coleman, Dr. Davis, Dr. Henderson, Ms. Lawson,
Here.
Ms. Brooks Powell. Brooks Powell couldn't join us today, but he did send a proxy, so Ms. Phelps is joining us via Zoom. And Mr. Terrell Jarrell. You have 5 present, which does not represent a quorum. She has to appoint, or she has to call it into executive committee first and appoint. Just Ms. Coleman, Dr. Cable, and Ms. Lawson. And then the chairman, Cable, is going to temporarily appoint Ms. Bailey and Charmaine to the executive committee today. Introductions and announcements. Brett, I don't know if Zoom can hear you, so I need you to go to the podium. Yes.
She's going to be responsible for grant reconciliation, drawing money, responsible for the monthly and annual grant reporting, responsible for the Louisiana Housing Corporation, and she has specifically asked not to.
Good morning. This is Alex Gorman, and he came to us from Neighbors Federal Credit Union. Alex is a graduate of Southern University here in Baton. And in the deposit area, so please join me in welcoming him to START and to the LOSFA family. Thank you.
Kristen Porter has joined us in the legal division, and she will be doing contract review and entry and providing legal guidance to she will be integrated into everything that I do for LOSFA. So please join me in welcoming Kristen.
Good morning and welcome everyone. It's great to be back in person. I'd like to introduce Brittany Terrio. She is our special program specialist for the UK Boston College program. And we're really glad to have her join us today. that program exclusively, and I'm so grateful. The LSU Office of Student Aid is a great time. So, good morning. So last year, on November 21st, we honored schools in our previous year. So that was for 21-22. For 2021, I apologize. And during the ceremony, we actually had a word of encouragement brought forth by Commissioner that say a representative sitting among them actually spoke as well. There were also testimonials that came from students and schools who did an outstanding job. So today we're going to recognize the schools of excellence. These schools who have no to shame, still tell us who those schools are.
So those schools that have achieved the School of Excellence designation for 100% participation among their students for the 2020-2021 academic year are Meadow Parish Magnet High School, Converse High School, David Thibodeau STEM Magnet Academy, East Iberville Elementary and High School, which are joining us virtually today, Elizabeth High School, Faraday High School, Georgetown High School, Gibson High School, which has representatives present here today, J.S. Clark Leadership Academy, which is also joining us virtually, Kinder High School, Louisiana School for Math, Science, and the Arts, Lusher Charter School, Magnet Academy for Cultural Arts, Mentorship STEAM Academy, Monterey High School, Technology Academy, which also has representatives here today, Phoenix High School, Pine School, Sicily Island High School, Simpson High School, Thomas Jefferson High School for Advanced Studies, and West St. John High School, which is also joining us virtually. Wanda, is there anyone else who wants to? So those schools of excellence who have representatives present here today, please join us up at the front for a photograph.
Showing you.
Our school
And Dr. Butte, joined us. Can't see that up on the screen, but she just wanted to congratulate all the schools today for the amazing accomplishment of 100% FAFSA completion.
Thanks, Sharonda.
Excuse me, this is Alice Brown. Before we go further, if you were on the Zoom, we cannot hear anything anymore.
We're currently working with the state treasurer's office.
Okay.
To offer debit cards or prepaid cards for our able owners. For START and K-12, we are currently watching 2 deals for START and K-12 in the current session. HB 983 allows START funds to be transferred to K-12 accounts without penalty to be used for tuition. Also, SB 25, Senator Ford, provides for earning enhancements to be paid on K-12, and that is currently pending in state permit. You will also note that while our number of continue, this is of course due to the market downturn affecting everything. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Okay.
Good morning again, everybody. So since the pandemic began in March of 2020, we shut down in March of 2020, and transitioned to offering virtual sessions, we are now working in some face-to-face activities, thankfully. We have actually had our first UK Foster Conference virtual session as well, and we have held a total of 752 virtual sessions since that time also. The professional development that our staff has focused on has been on the addressing the enrollment plunge. Unfortunately, how we can focus on helping students complete college, career advising, addressing summer melt, and how students and families can save for college and enroll in our college savings. We also have more over the summer. So for our partnerships, we are working with the Girl Scouts Louisiana Peace in order to form a partnership with them. We had a meeting a few weeks ago. We actually had another follow-up meeting for educational program with the Girl Scouts. Members end up hearing in order to address financial literacy, college readiness, college access, and how they can keep college access to LOSFA programs. So we're very excited about that. We have potential.
campaign that's going out by federal student aid information. We also sent out a reminder to let students know that there was funding for summer, which several students are taking advantage of. The grant that says we want to hear from you was us trying to get students for the focus group that we are working on, and we'll hear more about that a little bit later on the agenda. And then the one about the top schools, about now is when we start getting calls from students and parents saying, I don't see anything, and we have to remind them that top processing is not yet. So that's what that particular graphic is about. And then I want to call your attention to the Simplifying campaign results and the graphic that talks about the 24-hour requirement. And so what we'd like to do preemptively is to let students know that you need 24 hours to renew your award and have them know the student how many hours they currently have. That way they know that they need to take out some so that they don't get the award cancelled. And so for this particular text, there was a call to action for the students. We did tell them to go set up a health account, and out of curiosity, we got with Jason and IT, if there was any impact or are the students actually paying attention to what we're asking them to do, and they are. So if you look at the columns in the middle, you'll see that on those 2 days, you can see that there was a bump in student hub activity, and that was a result of us asking those students, number one, providing the LOSFA ID, and then number two, asking them to go and log into their student hub account. And so it's funny when I emailed Jason to say, hey, you pulled this, curious. He said, I wonder what was going on. He said, I think you guys are doing something because I saw the spike in activity, which usually happens when you guys put out something on social media or we do any sort of campaign. So that wraps up our report. Does anybody have any questions for Shane or myself? All right, easy for now.
Morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Curry. I'm head for our report, and we said good luck presentation. Next slide. During the month of April, we had 4 network groups that met. We have our engineering, CIS, IT group, dynamic, and we also have nursing and the county finance group as well. And the topics for this particular month, but sometimes we have the same topic covering as part of our presentation for you. So we had the same topic this particular month, and that was on resume building. And Thomas Rudd, field outreach services were kind enough to present on 2 of those occasions. And Jennifer Miller from HR was kind enough to present the nursing group at the end of the month. So I highlight 36 attendees of all 4 groups, and we even had high school students and actually 4 students started attending my engineering group. I like with all of them graduated, and we allowed this because all of them were going to school inside the state, and thought it would be a great segue for them to find out what our engineering group was all about. Like that, once they start majoring in engineering at their respective university, they will join us as far as the group. Next slide. As far as events and presentations, some who attended the St. Anthony's Lab partnership with South Indiana Community College that St. Anthony's Parish had, and about 900 7th graders I was told. And she was able to get those information on college access, as well as about the cost. There's also another Benjamin Parish School District outreach that Melville attended, and she basically had dedicated same type of information on college access. We presented to the 11 nursing department. We started a campaign reaching out to all community colleges, especially India, and present the network programs to them. And this was on one occasion, we actually went to the whole nursing department. Usually we are just presenting to the dean or department head, but this was an opportunity at ULM present to all the faculty in order for them to kind of promote our program to in ULM. And also Ms. Melville attended, I think she is evidently presented at the staff general annual 55 conference, and that did. And we're engaged with number there. Working with Bella, student engagement division, started doing focus group sessions. And as you can see, in one April, we had one presentation or one session with ninth graders, another session with 12th graders, and we had a number of sessions with secondary students. I see also that one that had session with conference in various schools. Post-secondary focus groups. At the beginning, we had a large number of students attending, a large number, like 9, and but the number dwindled, and we might still might be doing something different as far as being on the post-secondary just fell up to desire. And at the bottom, we put pictures of pictures that we had as far as policy session. So, any questions?
Next slide. So we do professional development for the schools to support us on the left side of the screen. This particular BD, this was our third part of a 4-part series. So we do that to make sure the schools understand how to implement housing for readiness programs. And one of the best ways we notice to engage schools is with schools, right? So we actually, our staff work with the schools to get these amazing professionals from the schools to present to their peers. And as you can see here, we have representatives from Woodlawn, Lincoln, and Sabine. Sabine was actually a district representative. And here are some of the results that, these schools who have implemented our program have actually seen. You can see increases in grade accountability, decreases in student dropout, increases in ELA scores on week 25, which is here from Lincoln Prep, you can see increases in rigor, and also, and this is in advanced placement in CLEP. The beautiful thing about that program is many of the students from Lincoln Prep actually graduate with an associate's degree. We just got an email from Rich Holman, I believe it was either earlier this week or last week, that the valedictorian
of Lincoln Prep is also going to be the grand marshal at LOSFA. So he's like leading the way at post-secondary and secondary. So we're really super proud of him there. And also for homeschool and the district for ACT, you see they had increases in student swarming, which is important that you know that we had about last year. They had an increase in top eligible students, right? So we wanted that, and also getting students actually taking the assessment. So on the right side of the screen, you see four discovery labs, four professional development labs that our schools are actually attending, or our staff are actually attending. We have 10 staff who actually attended that. And the beautiful thing about this is they're actually in lab with other college and career professionals from around the country. So they can share practices that Europe award that we have now, that's that game, they actually came and gave me that. So they actually spoke about how their participation in the program and services actually helped them graduate. Both of them were early graduates, they were enrolling courses. And also they talked about how it actually is helping them in their present careers. So Nigeria is actually working as a mental health professional. And Jai is actually in school right now. So students on the Zoom meeting were actually able to hear firsthand from these definitely core program participants, the starter students from our program. So really excited about that. On the right side of the screen, Tech, Louisiana Tech is one of our connected success partners. They actually hosted students on their campus for World Health Day. And this was very unique because not only did the students actually were able to go into the departments and actually meet with the staff of the departments, but they were also able to see employers too, which is so important to connect their programs of study to those employers of those careers. So as you can see from the student quotes there, they were really super excited about that. We're excited as well. And at the bottom of the screen, so as a part of our Europe program, we have something called college and career clubs. So there are college and career clubs, like Kappa Beta and Delta, that are embedded in the school. So Timothy Thomas, who leads this initiative for us, Chicago Youth Advocacy Specialist, she actually did an on-the-ground podcast with INSEP, with our national technical professional development provider, and talk about what we're doing here in Louisiana. And the beautiful thing about these clubs is, as you can see from this ACT report, that these are some of the results. When you have these college career clubs embedded in your programs, these are some of the results that you can actually see as seen on this ACT report when they evaluated how you are actually working on the ground. Next slide, please. So we presented before on Workforce Wednesdays, and this is something that I can tell you because I was here on one of the DreamWorks presentation. Students are super excited about this. So Louisiana Delta in partnership with Louisiana Tech have done several of these, right? When actually bringing workforce employers to our students, to our schools. So this is a national employer, right? talked about internships. So Dreamworks came in and they gave a sneak peek at some of the cartoon creations, by the animated creations that they're doing. They got me really excited about all of the possibilities at the national level of what they can actually do in this particular field, which was very exciting. Just the atmosphere on that call was amazing. And down to the bottom, definitely a shout out to the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries department, because they provided an online session to students about all the possibilities, the career possibilities there as well. And they not only talk about wildlife fisheries, they also talk about other jobs in the state of Louisiana. So that was really exciting to see participated there. In the middle section of this slide, you see that EDR hosted a mini dome event, which was a very special event, because the students actually, once they got off the bus, they actually went into a computer lab and they actually used our site, our online fusion site, to find out what they're interested in that they did not know. From there, they actually had a path that they actually took around with the actual in the actual event to determine, how their match actually relates to the careers that were around the room. And this is for ninth graders, so really starting early. So that was really well attended, and these are the stats here of all of the users from March. This event was in March, so like Emily said with her presentation, this is actually showing that what we're actually doing electronically, virtually with our students on these resources is actually, these are the results that students are actually using them and they're beneficial to them. And on the right side, this is another one of our students, a smart student, Joseph Gordon. He was actually celebrated at our Metro Council meeting. So we were very proud of him. Joseph has participated in so many of our offerings and has done such a great job in there. So with his certification, he got a GIS technical certification in the 2021 school year. And from there, he has still worked with that professional. And so his work on this bus bench project has led him to be honored and to be honored. So we were super proud of him with being honored there, as we are all of our students, but definitely a shout out to Joseph Gordon of Liberty High School. So that's what I have. If you have any questions. Anybody has questions?
Thank you. I'm always paid to know what you do. For all of you.
Good morning again. The first program is the Best Tuition Program for teachers. And for those who are new to the meeting, BEST provides educational assistance to teachers who go back for educational training in one of the STEM fields. So for this past spring semester, we had 9 recipients who were eligible to be awarded. Those awards are chosen by staff in the Louisiana Department of Education. 5 of the students went to LSU, 1 Southeastern, 2 at LSU Shreveport, and 1 at UL Lafayette, for a total of 9 for the academic year. That process is available, those funds, for the fall and spring semesters. So we get a new pool of applicants for the fall that will come to the Department of Education. The next program is the Louisiana Gold Grant, and you'll hear more about Gold Grant later on in the meeting. The Gold Grant had an allocation of over $40 million. So for the spring semester, we made the awards. We are still working with a couple of schools who have refunds to resolve and so forth, but we'll have a little bit more than $100,000 to reallocate to those schools who complete their billing by the March 24th deadline. So there are always more students eligible for Gold Grant than we have funds for. So those schools who finish early will have the opportunity to award students money for the program to finish out our academic year of 21-22. Then we have next program would be next slide, John R. Justice. John R. Justice is a federal program that we administer for public servants who work as either prosecutors or public defenders throughout the state. For this, we have 10 awards that we give out for prosecutors and 5 awards for public defenders. For this past year, we closed out, we gave out the 10 awards for the prosecutors, public defenders. We had a short list of applicants, so the additional funding for the 5th applicant actually was divided by the 4 public defenders who actually received those awards. For this upcoming academic year, we'll award those funds beginning this summer. We had actually 31 applications, which was a big increase. So we have 21 prosecutors who will be eligible for the 10 awards, and we have 10 public defenders. So we'll have a clean slate of applications that we'll give out this fall. And what happens is, the money that these attorneys are awarded goes back to pay off their, outstanding student loan debt. We know that there's a lot right now in use about student loan debt, Fresh Start program and so forth. So some of these public defenders are actually getting money from us, and they're also working as public servants, and they'll be eligible for the public loan forgiveness program also. So it increases their access to get out of debt from having gone to be an attorney. And the other program is a Go You Challenge program. So students who go for the Louisiana National Board Youth Challenge program, once they complete their program, some of the students do go back to their high school and finish their high school diploma there, and others will graduate from the YCP program. So once they're done with the Youth Challenge program, they're eligible for up to 2 years of tuition at a Louisiana public 2 or 4 year school. The caveat is that these students must major in a program that will lead to a 3, 4, or 5-star job. And those designations for jobs are determined by the Louisiana Workforce Commission. We pay their tuition and fees for up to 2 years, and some of these will do vocational training, some will do 4-year degrees and continue on. So we made 5 awards for spring and 8 this past fall. Are there any questions about, those are just a few of the programs and special programs. We have many more. Yes, ma'am.
There's 31 total.
John R. Justice, yes, ma'am. Well, it just varies. In some parts of the state, we have a low applicant pool, and we found in North Louisiana, some of the attorneys or prosecutors and public students are older, so they don't have student loans yet. When you look at the concentration, we have 2 law schools here in the state and 2 in New Orleans. The New Orleans and Baton Rouge area, there's a lot of young attorneys that are going to public service. You might get programs like the Innocent Project and some of those. They're working to help people in those areas. So we're also sending out information to the Career Center at LSU Southern, Tulane and Loyola Law School. They're publicizing that so students who are graduating and going into public service are made aware. And we also work with the Louisiana State Public Defender Board as well as the District Attorney Association. So those groups are helping us to publicize, and we also work with our communications team and give them the information. So they're putting it on social media and our other information platforms to publicize the program. So we feel very confident that we'll have a good selection of applicants to choose from when we start making those awards later on in June. Well,
the top sectors are still running that's there last year. We had 1 new referee that had Mill, spring as a report. So if you can see the gap between last and this year, it would be about $12 million. So that's going to close a little, but not that much. Spending less on tops than we did last year. If you have not been keeping track of how you can look at the year from that. You're about 3% down and available right now. Right at the moment. We now know that the state will likely sweep $8 million of the TOPS excess for year end, and that will not affect the possibility to pay bills, including summer school. Everything's funded, costs in a good shape to end the year with a surplus even after the $8 million. So we request that state funding for next year, so some of those students that put us back to show up. Fine. Officers are good. Questions?
There. Well, no, it was discussed a lot.
Well, I wanted to address the question you had about the focus groups. We are still working with our contest group on those focus groups. We're having some difficulty getting from that for those students who are still in high school. And college students, they're getting ready for the year, if they're not always finished, or they're in the middle of their finals. So we are working on sending out some surveys. And
Sorry. We're currently working with Bella, which, I think we had to do a presentation when we started the contract sometime last year, that they are going to help with evaluations, and one of their things they're going to work with is the focus groups, with student engagement, task group, for FOSS, we have Europe helping them with, Ron Whitley will kind of be the focus person, Connor, and this one, when they and Robin were all working with things stuff. But as of right now, we're able to hold 7 focus groups with students and with counselors, K-12 or 9 to 12 grade students, and the post-secondary. Unfortunately, like Robin said, we're having to issue the consent and such. So we've done some Facebook posts and we've done some blasts. And I know I've shared it on every Facebook group I know, including any like one I did, like about I was the support services that I found. Each like we found we're trying to get people that's going in and stuff. But we started doing physical surveys now that we can actually post out that you can't come to a focus group and you can at least give us your feedback through the surveys. And that's what we're doing on Facebook. So hopefully we'll have more of a robust sample with this and we'll be able to get some more information. We are hoping that once we go through all of the recordings that we have and the surveys, we'll have enough of a sample of that in June or so. We can give us the result, tell us what the results and what the reason is that we know and kind of extrapolate from it of why we're having this decrease in top acceptance students going to school and what are their expectations in the future and such. Any questions?
Now we want to, I assume. Let's find about there.
Yes. And this is actually hot off the presses. We have had committee meetings at Constitution this week and last week. So HB 207 is a bill that adds geometry as a required course for top set. It started out as an addition of geometry for just the high school curriculum, but we asked them, or we advised them that we really want to try and keep the top jumpstart diploma with for graduation requirements aligned to TOPS tech. So the author amended that bill to add that in. Thank you for that. HB 536 originally started out as a bill to reduce the qualifying ACT for TOPS tech to 15 from 17, but it was amended on Tuesday to change that to an MJ Foster bill that reduces the age for qualifications to 18 beginning in the 23-24 academic year. It has been recommitted to House Appropriations, so it's still got quite a long way to go through the process, and we don't have that much time left in this session. Let's see, we have HB 390, which would have affected this advisory board. It was gonna require that any administrative rules we did would have to be codified into the law by the legislature or it would expire. That bill is sitting in committee and it doesn't look like it's going to move forward, and we are very thankful. Let's see, HB 93 allows for the rollover of funds from start to start K-12. And that one is pending House floor debate. It just passed the committee on Tuesday. Once it gets finished in the House, we'll have to go to the Senate side and be approved by the committee. And so it's still got a ways to go. We also have Senate Bill 25, which provides for earnings enhancements for the Start Savings Program. For those of you who don't know, earnings enhancements is the state match for deposits into start accounts. That bill is still in Senate Finance. It is not scheduled, and if it were to pass out of there, it would still have to go to Senate or the House Committee and the House Board. So we don't really anticipate it moving, but stranger things have happened. Then we have SB 81 with the TOPS 1202 report. That's the report for the Board of Regents puts out every year regarding different statistics on TOPS recipients, how quickly we're putting their consent areas, income averages, scores are, what their average gains are. There was a requirement that their income be reported. This bill amends that out so that it will no longer be a required part of that report. It is pending House, so it's still got a little ways to go. Then we have Senate Bill 178, which codifies those sections for TOP as a result of Hurricane Ida. Governor put out his proclamation last September, and the legislature is basically just codifying those exceptions so they will be permanently in law. And then finally, we have SB 191 that adds an alternative to the foreign language requirements for the top score for it to be computer science. So a student will have the option to do French courses, French. That's what I told, so that was a little more than slip there, sorry about that. 2 foreign language courses or 2 computer science courses. The session has to end June 6th at 6 p.m. So we shall see what these bills gets through there by that time. And I think that's all that happens.
These are pending, like, what will happen if they are, what happens next for like the first 2 House bills and then they'll put us in.
Okay, so for House Bill 207, that one is, it's already gone through the entire House. So it'll go over to the Senate, and if it's passed on the Senate Education Committee, it'll go to the Senate floor. And if it's passed there, then it will come on. Let's see, HB 536 regarding NJ Foster. Let's see, it's been committed to appropriations, which means that they're going to look at how much could this possibly cost. And if they decide that, you know, the cost is not or more than what the state can afford, then they'll pass it and it'll have to go to the House floor. And then it'll have to go through the entire Senate side as well. So that's the current process.
About the 60.
Yes. Mhm. Oh, also, one other thing, thank you for reminding me, John. A couple of months ago, the Board of Regents passed a policy whereby student loans would not be considered a resource, if you will, in terms of determining whether a student can qualify for a J foster. Yesterday, Senator Fields dropped a Senate concurrent resolution, which puts that into a resolution formed by the legislature. So it's basically a statement of legislative intent that loans shall not be included in determining whether a student can get that or not. Good questions.
She's unmuted. I just don't know if it's going through.
Okay, I saw the notice to unmute, but I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
And we just can't hear in here.
Wait,
Oh,
what
wait,
was
I know why.
it,
Hold on.
Rhonda?
Need to get my speaker.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Dr. Boutte, can you go ahead forward? I'm sorry.
I didn't hear the question. Was there a question for me?
I'm sorry. Did y'all have a question or you just wanted executive director's update?
I thought you all already did that.
But I'll talk a little bit about that. The Lumina grant, if awarded, my understanding is that it's supposed to have been announced and not to speak. That grant is to provide an equity audit of state policies and laws that may adversely affect underrepresented populations. So to get that grant, Ms. Ebony here will be traveling to Denver for the commission. Did you want to talk some more about this? Okay, she doesn't want to talk about this thing.
Okay. Can you hear me, y'all?
Robin,
Can you all hear me?
to look at all the different policies to see if there are changes that can be made such that state can move forward in assisting underrepresented groups to move into higher education and progress much better than we have been doing.
What do you know?
I thought it was gonna be announced on May the 10th, but I have not heard for sure that we got the grant. I do know that the state was invited to Denver to this meeting. It's gonna happen in June 1st through 3rd, I believe. So,
Okay, Robin, can you hear me?
I will, and it was provided. And I think everything to be able
Hello. So I am, and piggybacking off what Robin was saying about the, work that we'll be doing in Denver. Of course, we will, as you said, keep you guys updated with what happens with that, but it is the hopes that some of the work that we do, looking at, policy and equity and things of that nature will help us as we start the work of the college reporters of the work. And so what you'll see is that myself, along with Elizabeth Bentley Smith, with the Board of Regents, currently serve as the co-leader for the College Affordability Work Group. So this work group was born from the work of Student Success Council, and there are two goals for this work group. One is to develop a set of financial literacy concepts for incorporation into a statewide training for all institutions to be shared with students, faculty, and staff. And then the second is to conduct a dual enrollment finances study exploring the feasibility of any adjustments to the current funding structures to promote equity and access within dual enrollment, which is a master plan initiative. And so if you look at the, if you're following along with the PowerPoint, you'll see the current members of the work group. We had our first introductory meeting yesterday, which went very well. I hope Shauna was present, so I hope it went well. But some of the things that have changed since that slide was made is that we have added an additional member to the work group. We are adding a representative for the proprietary schools. His name is Noah Brandon. We've also secured a chair for the work group. So this is Charlotte Garrett, who is the SUNO Financial Aid Director. She's also the 2022 last president, has volunteered graciously to be the chair for our group. So very good meeting yesterday. We started off with introductions, of course, and then we determined that we're looking to do a landscape review of all of the financial aid programs and initiatives that are available to the students, whether traditional or non-traditional, in the state of Louisiana. And so before we begin that work, which is scheduled to be completed at the end of the academic year 2022-23, so long-term, kind of long-term goal. Yesterday, we started off kind of looking at doing some brainstorming and looking at what resources we need in order to achieve work. So we will be meeting again a few times over the summer. We'll be convening again with a overall student success council meeting, but that's where we are so far, and we're looking forward to getting work done. Anybody have any questions about that? Oh, I love y'all, so easy.
It's more expected, and she is trying to, or she was trying to update, but we are hearing her audio, so she said she's just listening and she can't hear us, so thank you for everything. Okay, thank you. So this is still on the wall, so she's here. It has to be answered. Yeah, I see her.
No, those of you who were here last year, you may remember that there was legislation passed that provided that African American history is
Okay. Ask her if she can hear, well,
Can she hear me?
can you hear Robin?
Are you asking
Okay,
me?
hold on one
Robin?
second. I can't hear her, even though she's unmuted.
She can hear, okay. I guess I need to do this in line.
I just need to be unmuted, I guess.
Oh, you might need to call you into your microphone. Yes, that's correct.
Now we're moving on to the second business, which is advisory board consider rule ready to attend section 703. To add to enrollment psychology as a top curriculum that can be graded on a 5-point rating scale. As the recommendation is that we authorize the executive director of LOSFA to publish notice. Motion, please. Motion, any questions? Under the history or general?
Yeah, it's gonna be the history and just, this will be effective retroactively to 2018.
Chrissy, I'll go.
Okay, next we have continuously enrolled and to earn incorporated hours prior to the proposal. And I personally like to.
I think it's when I unmute my speakers, she can't hear. It's going through his YouTube because I can't hear on YouTube. So. Because we're both like. He's unmuted for YouTube.
Next, we have. All right. Request for exception to the top step.
Yes, a new legislation last year now allows us to consider exceptions to that rule. We had had a number of different subcommittees requesting exceptions to that for different reasons, but in the junior year of high school, or they had to leave their school due to severe and excessive bullying, and their doctors felt like study program later than task force goes. 2016, the legislature actually tell them when something changes, when different things apply, that we're getting questions from different of our constituents that we do not do anything about under current law. One of those we have been and circumstances are such that the board believes that. Yes.
Order reached contract review of the Louisiana Gold Grant Program. It was in the report in April of 2021 that included three major recommendations. One was that we provide predictable new investments to the Gold Grant Program, remove the 60% and create eliminate a separate application for Gold Grant and the feasibility of conducting new awards. In your packet, there's data to support the information, each of the recommendations. The first one is provide predictable new investments to the Gold Grant Program. Gold Grant did it went from 29 million in the 2021 academic year to 40.4 million for the current 2021-22 academic year. So that was a big increase for the program, which allowed many more students to receive funding in the Gold Grant. Basically, the way that worked previously was that a student could not receive more than 60% of their unmet needs when they were awarded the Louisiana Gold Grant, which limited students who were meritorious and needy. If you had a student who had a lot of unmet needs, they received a Pell Grant. The old way, when it was approved, the previous consultants had determined that students who receive 60% of their unmet needs persist at the same rate as students who get more. So 60% was kind of the benchmark to say if you get 60% of your unmet needs, then as well as anyone. Scholarship university, students who were getting need-based aid like Pell Grant. So by removing that 60% target, we're seeing that students now who are meritorious and needy can maximize their resources for aid, because loan program, because they were limited in that once they received TOPS and Pell, their total amount was very limited or none. And then they still had other expenses that could have been covered in the cost of attendance, but it resorted to the students having to receive student loans. The next statewide panel and the LSU Office of Student Aid. The agency works very closely with the advisory, with the Louisiana State Association of Aid Administrators. Brad is the immediate past president. Our current president of the association is Charlotte Tate Garrett. incoming president is Charmaine. I think who's president? Latoya. Second vice president, I'm sorry, Latoya. Our second vice president is here with us, as the advisory committee. So we, I guess, pick their brains or get their advice, issues that go on. We always pick in their brains because they're on the front line of what's going on with the students at their campuses. We have representatives from 2-year schools, 4-year schools, and they provide us with much needed advice as we go through these recommendations. So in the packet, we also look agree of $50 million. So that passes in the legislature in June 5th, we will go from 40 million to 55 million, which would be another whopping increase that would help additionally more students regarding that. On page 80 of your packet, you look at removal students that increased and the amount of funding that went to more students. We also, through our Go Grant survey, asked schools to give us feedback on removing the 60%. And it was pretty unanimous in that they were able to award more fund students in a positive way. They were able to increase the number of students awarded and reduce unmet need overall, which positively impacted the school's enrollment numbers. Also, basically, they're saying they each to award students who lived at home with parents who were also TOPS eligible. Another important comment was it greatly reduced the administrative burden on their staff. And then the removal of the 60% would probably allow the office to further leverage the Go Grant allocation by awarding eligible students that live on campus and receive other forms of gift aid as award students as responses from that impact. We had 37 of our 38 respondents said that the policy increase was helped also receive, decrease overall student loan indebtedness. So the third bullet on there is to create a statewide review panel to consider the exam population, rules and methodology to allow more students to receive timely information and dispersion. Go Grant funding is part of the Louisiana legislative package, but the session ends on June 5th. In the past, and just the past 10 years, by the first time, notifying the schools of what their packaging amount, what their dollar amount is for the upcoming year. So we feel that that is sufficient time for the schools to package the Go Grant well in advance of the fall semester so they know what students are eligible to receive those funds. So we feel we've been timely in that. There is no separate application for the Louisiana Go Grant. During the study, we found that out of all of the 14 schools in the LCT system, the LSU system schools, the Southern schools, and the UL, only one school is requiring a Go Grant application. And that school has been notified and no longer doing that. The third recommendation was to look at the feasibility of early commitment of minimum awards. Kind of like students might know what they're going to be getting in Pell and that sort of thing, but we feel that the information that we provide to the schools is timely enough so that students know what. So we, Mr. Brad is here to just kind of talk about one of the other recommendations he asked was if we get an additional 50 million Go Grant, what schools want to support increase in the maximum amount, which is currently at $3,000. That limit.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Moore. So we did poll the directors across the state, all of the systems, trying to see how they would feel about increasing the overall maximum of the Go Grant. And more or less universally, everybody's increasing. concerns that, yes, we can increase in action, but we won't use it unless the allocation is increased. And gives us the ability to serve more students. So there are very few institutions who did not support it. Most of them were basically saying they would rather keep it at 2,000 and allocate that funding to help more students. Approximately 16 out of the 18 respondents did support it in some form, actually, with it being yeah, in terms of the movement program, I can attest for myself as well. I know a number of those institutions made this tremendous policy decision that helped a lot of students in a lot of institutions. The administrative burden that came along with trying to award their grant and recalculate and do this over and over, it slowed down the timeliness of their funding. There were some institutions that weren't able to award that funding until after. The end of the award funding. You're not able to award in the first one. So it definitely was a huge benefit, as well as the increase which we widely celebrated. As the board shared in the end, there's documentation showing that not only did the total number of awards increase, but the increase. A very good benefit to the students and the institutions as a whole, which we want to continue to support. So definitely don't want to go backwards and trying to for our students. With the legislative session, even when it does, without any additional constraints. Predictability, to let them know, hey, I need to have for the fall semester, I can be a little bit more confused in terms of what I need to learn. So, yeah.
Definitely they really do look for that. Our support, great. Always first, but it's allowed us to better leverage available and allow our students to not have to draw as much, especially unsubsidized. So, here, and
in the last 2 years, great, but it does not really entice. So they're all in what we French. So we are very excited about, being able to like show this information to our children. This is really how we should. Right. Current time, hiring a lot of money on the table. Having a program, a foster, the cost program, and all the other funds that are coming out of money that we can really
appreciate but it's, they're also thinking about planning for this on money, but it's not going to be hard. Sales tax. What happens if it's about 35 million for that? And I can see Go Grant is probably maybe, well, the easiest one to run. They won't run a cost of foster, they get into a line. We have surplus, we got And we have a real problem that we have. Who has those grants? I'm curious. If we were to less students, we can have to look at lower.
Well, I don't think we have to lower the maximum amount. The maximum is just providing flexibility. The maximum is just providing flexibility for institutions to have that ability to award higher values, especially if there's instances where it supports it. If the funding were to scale back, it would simply just lower the number of students. About how they use the fund. They want to modify their allocation, their award values for the specific enrollment statuses, or how they would like to do that to ensure they can continue to award the same number of students at a persistent value, or if they want to lower the value a little bit to award more students. And so they just expand the number of students that they're able to award and potentially increase the overall award value for the
In order to fund all eligible students at the school packaging policy, we need 109 million. So the packaging amounts are minimum $300 a year, max $50,000. Very few schools award the maximum amount. We find award the max because they have fewer students who are Pell eligible that qualify for those. For those in the audience, you have to actually apply for and receive a Pell grant to receive a Pell grant. So you have fewer Pell eligible students at schools like Tulane Centenary now. Schools like those, what is your max? 1,500 is the max of the year. So they're spreading it across a wider band of students by awarding less. So you would need 109 million to award schools at their current packaging policy, and you would need 168 million to award a year, those criteria. So we're moving closer. So we get the 15 million, we'll be at 55 million, which is almost half of the 109 million. Am I getting that correct? Okay, so that's we just appreciate the financial aid community. We support them and they support us because when things come up, we're now on the front line and they're our eyes and ears, as Dr. sometimes says, boots on the ground, that we can find out what's going on and how. Yeah, we need a motion. We need a motion. A motion to adjourn.